Genius. How do you turn your life into a meditation? I've talked about this once before, maybe. So when some people start this work, some people come to this work out of a place of desperation and lack, and they're sick, and everything else has not worked. And then there are a few people that came to this work because of curiosity, and they simply found inspiration. Sometimes when life gets good, you look for meaning, which is something our mind looks for in everything. To our brain, the meaning of something is the most real thing, according to Jordan Peterson. Turning your life into meditation. Now imagine if you have lived your life changing matter to matter, right? So you have always been doing things matter to matter. A friend of mine, he's an entrepreneur. He went to a couple of Tony Robbins events. And Tony Robbins teaches you how to work hard, really hard. And you meet like-minded people that just want to work all the time. And he worked and made a lot of money and bought uh, built a really successful business. But he was working so hard that he became sick out of stress. So he had this stress vertigo that all of a sudden he just fell in the middle of a meeting. And from that point on, nothing mattered. The success didn't matter. He's like, what is happening? Couldn't drink water without holding the table, holding somebody to make sure he doesn't. He just completely took a step back. He took 8 months, a year off, completely. Went and immediately started doing this work. He met a lot of people. He started doing meditations, went to a lot of retreats, and healed himself. It took him about 8 to 9 months to heal himself. And since then, he has this newly found appreciation for existence and life, where changing matter to matter isn't the way to do things, and most people do exactly that. My point was that sometimes when you have been conditioned to do matter to matter lifestyles, you still need one more decision matter to matter before you isolate yourself enough to focus inward within you. What do I mean by that? You might be with a partner that isn't suited for you to continue doing this work. You might be with a roommate, or too many family members, a little chaotic in the house, where you can't really have some solitude and isolation and quiet time for you to focus on yourself. And when that happens, you have to figure out a way to get away from that. Why do I say that? Because initially in this work, it is very annoying, it is very stressful to simply just close your eyes. Have you ever done that? When you have never meditated and you just close your eyes, God forbid, and there's no phone, you get rid of it, and you're just sitting there quietly, just observing your mind. You realize how chaotic you start to feel. Your mind is wandering everywhere, telling you to get up and do something. Sometimes emotions and thoughts come up that you don't want to look at. And you realize there's so much in you that is not love. And you realize how much you need to burn off to become the light body, to become the person that can start changing things from energy to matter. So you initially need silence and isolation and solitude. And you need the right environment. That's why retreats, initially, when you start this work, it can be so helpful. Communities like mine, the mystical being community, it's so important. I'm constantly, now we have been meditating and doing healings, and we've been doing Q&As talking about things, which we chat all the time. People are talking to me all day. But so when you then meditate with people, when you take advantage of the constructive interference in order for you to not only liberate energy, for you to sort of cleanse your field energy, and then your field energy starts to change in a way that the gaps and openings close off so you're now protected, and then the field starts to expand outward. It starts to thicken up a little bit, and people that can see fields will be able to tell how it changes you. It'll physically change you when you get really good at this. And once you become good at this, once this becomes very easy for you to be able to stay in trance, meditate with your eyes open, stay in the present moment while you're doing things around the house, outside, at the airport, where things can be a bit chaotic, but you can still be in the present moment, where you can still have this emptiness in you. But it's really hard to get to that place when you are already in chaos. That's why you need to prepare something initially, your environment, so that you can then focus on your inner environment through various kinds of breathwork and meditation. But that's really important. I'm very fortunate that I don't know if you guys can hear the laundry's going off, but I'm alone a lot. So when I'm working, when I'm doing things, when I'm strategizing, I am around silence. Allows me to have downloads, clarity. I can meditate as much as I want to. And you find out, when you start to find out what you're truly capable of, you get really good at these meditations, and you feel like you no longer need as much food as you did before. You no longer need as much sleep as you used to. And you become so patient and so kind and so curious that something in you changes, not only genetically, biologically, electromagnetically, but this space is created where the divine can now come through and show you things, do things for you in a way that is good for you. Those manifestations, those intentions, where your state of being becomes in a way where you become very whole. And when you stay in that wholeness state, you cannot be sick. The sickness goes away. Abundance shows up. Everything changes in life. And it starts to happen very effortlessly. This whole notion of motivational speakers, that you don't go to sleep when you're tired, you go to sleep when you're done. You need to outwork everybody in your room and just hustle, hustle, hustle. It's not fulfilling. It's not fun. And you make yourself sick. Kind of like the projector idea, right? We're projectors. And our inner world is reflected out. And that's how we see the reality. It's just a projection, it's just a hologram. And there's this harmonious way that this projector needs to work for the reality to have some harmony within, so you can have some peacefulness. You can enjoy being kind and patient. And when you keep changing matter with matter, you just feel burnt out from time to time. And you go from one bad relationship to the next bad relationship, one miserable job to the next miserable job, one betrayal of friends after another betrayal of friends. When the stress and the frustrations just keep adding up, it's like a pressure cooker. When people that you've never met just on the road will upset you, and you'll be honking and you'll just be up, and it just compounds that stress. That's where the disease comes from. That's where the dissatisfaction of life comes from. And it feeds on each other. There's a positive feedback loop and there's a negative feedback loop. And people are usually stuck in the negative feedback loop. When you're stressed and you're miserable and you are upset at life, you're practically asking the quantum to give you more circumstances for you to feel more of what you're feeling. And that's why I do what I do. So people can wake up, realize life doesn't have to be hard work. Because when you're in flow state, when you're in this present moment, this beautiful emptiness, where your higher self that knows more than you flows through you, and suddenly you become so busy, but you're dancing through life. You get so much done, and you don't even know how. And you can then start to make changes, and you're working hard, and you become successful, and you become this abundant and whole and healed. You guys remember I've talked about that it takes a square root of 1% of the population to start making changes into the population, where the crime goes down, people become more patient and kind with one another without realizing how. But it's because of people like you that are doing the work. Constructive interference is always in play. When you create mass hysteria into a city, into a state, into a nation, and everybody starts to feel lack, and they're feeling fear and anger, the constructive interference starts to take place, where there's more people in the hospital emergency, more crimes start to happen, people become very unkind towards one another. The opposite is also true. Stop stressing yourself out. Turn this precious, precious life into a meditative state throughout the day. If you don't know how that's done, you start off by taming the animal within you. Close your eyes and sit there and just watch everything that comes up. And just observe. You do that long enough, you will get this beautiful peace within you that'll emerge. That is already there, it just has a lot of crap sitting on it. And as you burn that off, you become more love, you become more light, you become more wave, less particle. And you'll see these subtle signs where you'll surprise yourself with how kind you are. Things don't faze you anymore. You start to heal, you feel better. You need less sleep, you need less food. People around you start to act differently. People will start to wonder, have you changed your medication? They'll ask you, what is up with you? You don't look like you used to. You don't act like you used to. And if they don't resonate with you, they'll leave you. People will go away, and new people will come into your life that are your vibrational match. 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒 says, your real family are the people around you that are your vibrational match, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. If you're stuck in a low vibration, if you feel like a victim, you're going to attract a lot of victims. You, if you're more kind and more patient, you will attract more kind and patient people. You guys should see the people in my community. Sweetest people ever. They're always supporting each other. I'm seeing the chats go off all day. Anyway, change your energy, change your thoughts, change your feelings. It changes your life in an unbelievable way. You will start to experience things that are so beautiful, so magnanimous, that it'll make you very silent, speechless. You'll be like, I couldn't even imagine this in my wildest dreams. How did that happen? Most people live their life just sleepwalking. They don't realize the treasure that they're sitting on. They don't realize the treasure they possess within. You unlock that, you are a magician. I'll make a video about people that do this work and they become really good at it. Yogis, swamis, shamans, the things they can do. You just wouldn't believe it if you're a sleepwalker. You're going to listen to it and be like, no, no. That goes against the laws of physics. Yeah. You can bend the laws of physics. You can bend reality. The closer you get to pure consciousness, super consciousness, the Christ consciousness.